Hey amazing coders, welcome back to Coding with Osama. I'm Osama and today we're taking the next step in our C++ journey. If you're excited to level up your coding skills, you're in the right place. In this video, we're delving deep into the fascinating world of variables and data types. Buckle up because it's about to get interesting. Before we dive into the new material, let's quickly recap. In our last video, we demystified compile time versus runtime with a fantastic party analogy. If you missed it, check the link in the description. Today, we're all about variables and data types, fundamental concepts that form the backbone of every C++ program. Let's start with the basics. What are variables? Variables are like containers that hold information on our program. They store different types of data, and understanding how to use them is key to becoming a C++ maestro. Let's jump into our code and see variables in action. To be able to see variables in action, first thing you have to understand data types. I'm just going to give you the common values, common data types, and an example on them so you can get the idea. Int is basically an integer value. Float is a floating type value, exponential or decimal values. Char is basically a single character or number in between single quotes. Bool, true or false. I think you're asking yourself, what is he talking about? I don't get a single thing. Let me just explain it really quickly so you can get the idea, and trust me, it'll be easy. So variables, like we said, are containers that hold information, and initializing them and declaring them is a really important thing in C++. Let me tell you how to do that. Basically, what you have to do is take your data type and then your variable name and then equals, and then you put the value and you end it with a semicolon. Go ahead, put your data type. What do you want your variable to be? What is your variable? Your variable, let's say for example, is an integer. What is your variable name? Let's say integer number. So now this variable number is stored as a container that says, hey, I am a container, I hold integer values. So whatever information inside me is a number, an integer. You go here and you put your value. What do you want your value to be? Like, what do you want to put inside that container? Let's say, for example, you put the number 10. And there you go, you declared your first ever variable. Let's go around and repeat it. The data type, it's an integer value, which means this variable is a container that holds an integer value inside it. What is the value? It is 10. So let's just try couting number. What do you think the output will be? Let me give you a quick choice of answers and that you can answer before I run the program. A, is it number? Will it print number? Or B, will it print 10? Or C, is it a runtime error? What do you think? For those of you that answered B, then you are correct. And there you have it. The output is 10. For those that are still confused, let me explain. Here, in line 6, you have a number. You have a variable called number. That is a container that holds its data type, what is its data type? The data type is an integer. And what is the value of that integer? It is 10. So you go here. Hey, cout, how are you? I want to print something. Okay. Can you put whatever you want to print after my insertion operators? I go ahead. Yeah, sure. I go insertion operator. Take number. He says, what is number? I tell him, hey, number is a variable that holds the value 10. So please take it and print the value of this variable. So he takes it and he prints out the value, which is 10. Hooray. Now, let me introduce you to Cn, a magical tool that allows users to input values. We'll see how to use Cn to take user input and store it in our variables, making our programs dynamic and user-friendly. In other words, for example, we initialized number, right? And we declared its value as 10. Instead of that, you can take the value from the user. And you're asking, how do I do that? First things first, you gotta make your container. You go ahead, data type, and then variable name. And then you go ahead and use this new function. It is called Cn, right? And remember those insertion operators we used in cout? You just flip them. And you're asking yourself, what? Why would I flip them? Remember how we said insertion operators take everything on the right and insert them into cout? Same thing for these operators. They take whatever the user inputs and they put them inside the variable. As an example, you go ahead and type cn, those operators, and then you write in your variable name that you want to input the value from the user. So you go ahead. Let's just recap what we just wrote. We went ahead, data type integer, number. So my variable's name is number. Number is a container that holds integer values. Next line, cn. Cn, hey, I want to input a value. Where do you want to put that value? I want to put that value inside my container. What is your container's name? My container's name is number. Then you go on to the next line. Cout. What do you want me to cout? Cout number. What is number? What does number hold? Number holds the value that you just inputted from the user. Let's run our program. Here, you input 10, and it outputs a 10. To wrap things up, we'll just put everything we learned into action by writing a simple program. We'll declare variables, use different data types, and even take user input to create a meaningful and interactive experience. It's like bringing our code to life. So, let's write our first program, our first meaningful program other than Hello World. Let's say, for example, I want my data type to be a float, and I want my variable's name to be float number f, and then semicolon, which means my expression has ended. New line. I cout. Please enter your float value. Now to the next slide. I want a value for my variable number f. So I have to input number f from the user. And then all I have to do for my last line is just output that number. Let's run our program. Please enter your float value. What do you want that value to be? Let's say, for example, 10.2. Hooray, it outputs 10.2. There you have it, a deep dive into variables and data types in C++. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. In the next tutorial, we'll explore more advanced concepts, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next one.